Hey, everybody. On this episode of the Samp&Chance Boxing, we're going to go back to Vegas. We're going to take a look at the TO card. Keyshawn is on there as well. Also, we're going to preview the fights happening this weekend on Top Rank and with the Zone Golden Boy. Also, Canelo made his announcement earlier this week, so we're going to take a look at that. And the match announced earlier this week as well. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia this April, and a look ahead of all the great action that we're actually going to get before the summer even starts. So, guys, gals, strap in. Here we go, Samp&Chance. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance Boxing. It is Thursday, Friday Eve. I am joined with my man with the master plan, Mr. Chance Michaels. Chance, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Yourself?
Can't complain, man. The weekend is fast upon us, so that always makes me happy. We have a good bunch of wrestling this weekend. Plus, we also got a couple cards, one this Friday and one this Saturday. So a nice. Oh, plus UFC. So it's going to be a fun weekend. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It should be
Yeah,
fun.
it's a lot of action, a lot of combat sports.
A lot of combat sports, man. You got to love that time of the year. And also, by the time this airs, I believe pitchers and catchers should be reporting to spring training
Tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Well, yeah.
Friday. Okay, perfect. So here we go, man. This is going to be fun. I love baseball season, man. Something about it. It's the beginning of spring. As much as I love the fall, I love the spring.
Yeah, me too. It's a special time.
Hockey playoffs, baseball starting. Otani's going to take in BP practice already. He's looking good. So
Yeah, he does.
looking excited for it all, man. But hey, man, let's get into the show. Let's start with round number one. Teofimo Lopez against Jermaine Ortiz. And we'll also take a look at Keyshawn Johnson's victory as well. It goes over Prezada. So yeah, let's get this thing started. There we go. Clock's going. So your thoughts on the match, man? Very simply, I just thought Teo got frustrated. He couldn't get what he wanted. Ortiz, a lot of people are complaining that they thought that it was really boring. Yeah, it wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing match, but you know what? You got to respect the man for sticking to his game plan and his strategy. I mean, that's the way he had to fight to win. Unfortunately, he didn't get the win. Controversy again. Your thoughts?
Horrible match. Boring. It was garbage. Even the commentators are saying it. They didn't say the word garbage. It was terrible. You never know what Tio's going to show up, and that Tio, he didn't look good. I mean, I get Ortiz is running around and stuff. He was trying to do it maybe, but except he wasn't landing shots. But Tio's a former champ. He needs to know how to cut off the ring. He wasn't cutting off the ring. And, he was getting all pissed off and frustrated. Yes, Tio wanted to engage. He should be able to cut the ring off. He wasn't able to. It was a horrible fight. I don't recommend anybody watching it. Ortiz or Tio was blaming Ortiz for running around to cut the ring off and get at him. End of the day, I thought Ortiz won. I thought he got robbed. I thought he had a little bit more to win, but I guess the judges noticed him running around. It was a horrible fight. Then Tio, after he was making sexual references, then he's quoting the Bible. The guy's all over the place. He needs better trainers. He needs better management. Bob Aaron can't keep him in line. He's just he's got mental health. He needs a lot of help. He's all over the map, and he looked horrible. And Ortiz didn't look good, and it was garbage. Terrible.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, I come back to that point that I was making. I mean, it all comes down to game plan, right? And for Ortiz, the game plan was to stick and move. And obviously he knew something there. I mean, again, we talk about the mental health issues and things like that when it comes to Teofimo. And he's easily frustrated, man. I mean, he couldn't handle it. I mean, you're a top level boxer. You should know what to do, how to cut off that ring. If you see what he's doing, that whole fight. Like, I mean, he basically came out southpaw and just kind of changed his stance.
Well, Tio's not going to headline any pay-per-views anytime soon because you just disappointed all the fans. You talk this big talk, you perform like that, and you talk like that after. Who's going to trust you to headline a pay-per-view? We don't know which Tio's going to show up. Now, does he fight down to his competition? Maybe. He looked good against Lomo. He looked bad against Sandor. He looked bad against Diaz. So, I don't know. You just can't trust the guy. And I met the guy. He's a nice enough guy, but
yeah.
I wouldn't want to pay money to watch him a pay-per-view because I don't know what he's going to do.
Well, when he fought Josh, they had over close to 1 million views for that. That's what they recorded at close to 900 and something thousand. In this one, the numbers came back. Only 500,000 people tuned in for this one. Maybe because it was a Thursday, I don't know. But the reality of it is, it's like, yeah, man, it wasn't pretty. But like I said, I can't fault the man. I can't fault the man at all because he was just doing what he was supposed to do. Like he was trying to win. And yeah, he got robbed. He did. I think he did.
Mhm.
He got robbed. But the fight that probably should have been the headline, Keyshawn, what a fight, man. That
Thank
guy.
you, Keyshawn Davis. I said on the podcast 6th round and under. I actually bet that it was 12-1, and he did finish him in the 6th round, like I said. So that made a nice little win for me. I went 2-0 on the predictions. So even though I should have lost Ortiz, but Teo got the win, so went 2-0. Keyshawn looked good, man. He did what he had to do. He finished the guy. He hit the body, hit the head. He didn't waste punches. He only threw punches when he needed to throw punches, and he made them count. He wasn't punching the air like Teo or Ortiz, where he made them count. Pedraza's shot. He hasn't made this weight in 4 years. He's old. He's tired. He's got too many miles on the car. And Keyshawn looks good. He called out Teo, and if they do fight, Keyshawn's going to whoop him.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah.
quicker. He's stronger. He's got a better game plan, a better team. He's focused. Keyshawn looked great, man. He's a up-and-coming rising star. He keeps fighting like that. Exciting.
No, it was exciting. I mean, he took care of him in the 6th round. I mean, he really beat him up in the 6th round. They finally stopped it in the 7th. And just so you know, Gervonta Davis is the only other guy to ever finish him.
Yep.
So
Good, man.
pretty
Great.
crazy. All right, brother man, why don't we move on to the action that's taking place later on this week? We have a card tomorrow night and we have a card Saturday. Let's start with Jojo Diaz against Jesus, and I love his middle name, Ricky Perez.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this fight, man. I think it's going to be really interesting, and I think there's things in this fight that people are going to be interested in. Now, my takeaway is very simply, I think that Jojo brings a bit more agility to this matchup, and I think his jab is a little bit more crisper. The one thing about Ricky here that he has going for him is his power and that unpredictability. Uh, Jojo coming off 2 wins, whereas Diaz is coming off a bunch of losses here, man. So there's a lot
2 and
more.
3 in his last 5
Yeah.
fights. Yeah. So Diaz, he's a former champion. He beat Javier Fortana in
Yeah.
2021. Then he won a 3-fight losing streak. Now, there's no shame in losing to Devin Haney, which he did do. So he lost those 3 fights while fighting Haney. This fight, it's free on DAZN. This is not a pay-per-view because nobody would buy it, because these guys, they're good, but they're not great. Like I said, Perez, this is a tune-up fight for Jojo to get him back up in the upper echelon. Perez is 2 and 3 in his last 5 fights. Jojo is a -700 favorite. That goes to tell you everything you need to know. They're basically saying he'll stop Perez, Jesus Perez. I don't know if he will or not. I mean, Jojo's a better fighter. He's got the better resume. But he's had a losing streak too. Both these guys won these losing streaks, and something's got to change here. So it'd be a big upset if Jesus was to pull it off. But I got Jojo finish him in under 8 rounds. I just think he's fought better competition, and he's former champion, and he's hungry. And hopefully it's a good fight. It's free. It's on DAZN. It's at the casino in California at the Commerce Center. So
Yeah.
should be a good card.
Well, I
Free as
think
it should be.
I think Jojo's going to win it as well, but I think he's going to win it by decision. The reason I'm saying is because of that X factor of that power shot. I almost feel like Jojo's going to try to play it safe and work from the outside, kind of like what we saw last week, right? I mean, just working from the outside, getting your shots in, and just building up your points and staying away from that power. Because like I said, he does have a powerful shot, and if he lands it maybe just once, that's all he needs. So I think we're going to see a bit more of a cat and mouse kind of a chess style match here, myself personally. But that being said, if he breaks him down and does what he does, you're right too. So
yeah, I mean, he lost to Gary Russell for the WBC belt. Diaz. He's been in there with Haney. He's been in there with better competition. He's been a former champion. He knows he needs to win this fight. If he ever wants to headline anything ever again, he cannot lose to Jesus Perez.
No,
I don't want to. I basically say Jesus Perez is a journeyman at best. He's got a good record, but 2 and 3 in his last 5 fights. He's on the downward spiral. Both guys will be hungry at least because they need this win. So, like you said, should be some good fireworks here, and see what happens.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be fun, and people do forget that he really pushed Devin Haney. Jojo did when they fought.
Yeah, he's a good fighter.
Right?
Yeah, I got it 8 rounds and under. ref stoppage, TKO Jojo Diaz.
There you go. There you go. And that's that round. All right, brother man, we're doing really good here. Let's move on to the next fight, which is happening this Friday from MSG WBC.
In the theater, not in the real arena.
In the theater, in the Hulu
Big distinction.
Theater. Yeah. Super lightweight title is on the line. We have Oshiki Foster, the champion, going in against Abraham Nova. I'm looking forward to this fight, guy. I'm telling you straight up, I believe this is going to be one of the sleeper fights that people are going to go, shit, I wish I didn't miss it. Your initial thoughts on it?
Well, I'll break it down. Abraham Nova first. He's got a deep amateur pedigree. He's super strong for his size. People are going to realize that. He's super strong. This, however, is his first world title fight. He's ranked number 12 by the WBC. He's a plus 600 underdog, so he's not getting a lot of respect. However, I think he's going to hold his own with Foster. I still have Foster winning this by decision, but Abraham Nova is no joke. He's got it all. The amateur, he's strong. It's his first world title fight, so you know he's going to have some butterflies, but you know he's going to come hard for that. And then Foster's the second title defense. He's one of the best super featherweights in the world. Yeah. Ever since Oshaki Foster switched his coach to Bobby Ben 8 years ago, he hasn't lost.
Yeah.
He's beat Ray Vargas for the WBC belt. He's a major favorite here. He's a minus 1,000 favorite. That's basically you got to put $1,000 on Foster to win 100. So Abraham Nova's getting no respect by the Sharks, the Vegas odds makers. But it should be a good fight. Like I said, Foster's hungry. Since he switched coaches, he hasn't lost in 8 years. I think the streak continues. I got Foster by unanimous decision. It's a free card. It's on TSN, on ESPN Plus. It's gonna be a great fight. Your thoughts?
This Friday. Yeah, my thoughts, you know what? You covered a lot of what I was going to say. I'll say this about Nova, though. The one knock on Nova is that he can pretty much beat anybody he wants except the top guys in the division, so to speak. Kind of reminds me of one Ryan Garcia. You know what I mean? Like, he'll always have
Ryan Garcia is a mega star, though.
But no. But in the ring, take all stardom and everything away. They're very similar in terms of what they can accomplish, right? That's probably the only knock. I mean, we saw that against Robsy Ramirez when he lost to him, then he moved up into weight. My keys to this is, for me, honestly, when I look at Foster, I think the one thing he needs to utilize and use properly is his up jab. I think that up jab is going to be beneficial. Again, you mentioned it, and if anyone didn't hear you, Nova stance, the way he brings himself in, right?
Super strong.
Right, super strong, but that uppercut, I think is something that he needs to look at. Also, his foot, working off the front foot, because Nova likes to move back a lot. Working off that front foot, using that jab, setting up shots. I think those are the keys to victory for him. For Nova, myself personally, I think he needs to, focus on his footwork and moving around, not moving back so much. More lateral movements will benefit him in this fight. But at the end of the day, I think just the competition's too much. Foster in 12 decision.
Yep.
Looking forward to this fight, man. I really, truly am. I think this is going to be one of those really, really fun fights.
And the thing that separates Top Rank is they got the best commentators. When you got Joe Tessitore and Tim Bradley out there, they added a little special feel to it. Some of the other fight promotions that are commentating is not quite as good as this. So that always special.
Outside of Showtime with Malo Ranallo as their main guy, I mean, all those other pieces are interchangeable than usually are with Showtime.
The thing I find is Moro, he's like Pat McAfee. He's too over the top. Everything is yelling. Everything is the greatest hit, the greatest fighter. It's too much. It's too fake. It's too contrived. Where Tessitore comes a little more natural.
I get you. Which my point is they have a certain chemistry because they always work together.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like in all the other promotions, I always find that, especially with the Zone, the commentating teams are always interchanged, right? There's no constant. Top Rank's doing it right. You have the two guys. You're basically Top Rank's King and Ross. They have that chemistry. They feed off of each other. They know how to work with one another.
I do like Sergio Mora for the Zone. He's good, but yeah, Morello's okay, but he's a little over the top. He's a little too much sometimes.
No, fair enough. All right, brother man, let's get into round number 4. I believe we're at that point. Canelo made his announcement on Tuesday on Azteca TV Basically, he is saying that I will fight May the 4th somewhere in America against an American opponent.
Vegas.
Well, that's what he said, but we know, right? So
Yeah.
Vegas, uh, the options, and it's an American opponent. So David Benavidez, Charlo, or Crawford. Who do you think he's going to pick?
Or Munguia.
Well, no, Munguia is Mexican. He says he's not having a Mexican fight.
Okay. It's going to be Charlo. He's already kind of set up, but he's back. It's not going to be Benavidez. I'm telling Benavidez and his dad are talking like they're talking, insulting him, calling him names. Canelo is not going to fight you just despite you guys to hold up your money. You got to tone it down a little bit. You post the memes and call him chicken and all this stuff. Canelo's not scared of David Benavidez. He's been in there Triple G. He's been in there Floyd. Canelo's not scared of him. When you're the A side, you fight when the A side wants to fight you. So I think it's going to be Charlo. Crawford probably in September, but Charlo or Crawford for sure. It's not going to be David.
Well, he's got 2 more fights left on the PBC deal here, right? So this is going to be number 2, and then I guess Mexican Independence Day in September will be number 3. And you're probably right. I have a feeling it's going to be Bud that will get that match. Just the question is where does David go? Who does he fight? But we will talk about that another day. Yeah. What I really wanted to talk about,
I think it's going to be Charlo and May, though. I think he wants to finish the Charlo brothers off.
Well, I think he does too, and I think he will, right? I mean, that's just a given. But here's what I really wanted to bring to light. Forget the announcement, forget it all. This is what I talk about all the time, and we talk about all the time. Star power and that pull. Who has it? It's Tyson and this guy here, Canelo.
Yep.
The guy says, I'm making an announcement. The world stops. The boxing world, right?
Yeah. You want to listen. Yeah.
It's just like people want to hear what he says. The rumors, I'm retiring. I'm doing this. None of it was true. But just the fact that Canelo is going to speak, you know what I mean? It's just like,
and the thing is, if Ryan Garcia could actually go on like a 5 or 6 winning streak, start beating some top guys, he could get that Canelo or Tyson Fury because he's a good-looking guy. He's got a massive social media following. He just got to start winning, and he can probably get to that level because his last pay-per-view did 1.2 million. So yeah. Haney and Garcia fighting is good for Haney because Haney's going to get a big payday because Garcia brings the fans.
No, 100%. I agree with you. But
we're hopefully Garcia can start winning. He needs to start winning, though.
We will talk about that next. But yeah, going forward here, so we know Canelo is fighting May the 4th. We all speculated to be in Vegas, and we speculated to be against the other Charlo brother. So there we go, man. We know what Canelo is doing. So
good for Canelo. You've earned the spot. He won some big fights. You got the money. They're the cash cow. You call the shots. You fight when you want to fight, right or wrong.
Him and Tyson are the 2 guys that get to do that right now, right? At one time, it was Floyd's, privilege to do that.
Yeah,
so
now it's Canelo's time.
I have no problem with any of those guys. If you get to that level, you
deserve it. Yeah,
you've earned the right to do it.
And I got to give Canelo respect. He gave Triple G his 3rd shot. Gave him that 3rd fight. Everybody said he was ducking him. Yeah, he made him wait a little bit longer until Triple got a little bit longer in the tooth. But hey, he did it. He set that record straight with him, and good for Canelo. I gained a lot of respect for him when he did that.
Right now, sorry. Speaking of which, and I agreed with everything you just said there. Speaking of which, this week, as we talked about just a couple seconds ago, Devin Haney against Ryan Garcia. That's set up for this April the 20th, man. We're going to see that fight go down in Vegas. You already talked about it, man.
I love it. I love this fight because you know what? I think Ryan Garcia is a good guy. He's like a young De La Hoya. He just needs to he's got to win one of these big fights. Like I get it, Tank knocked him down, beating the crap out of him. Haney's not going to knock you out. So Garcia has a better chance against Haney than he did against Tank. Yeah, Haney is more technically skilled than him, but you don't got to remember Haney knocking. Haney doesn't knock anybody out. So Garcia has a chance in this fight. This is going to be a huge fight. I think they get over 1 million pay-per-view buys on this one, right? And a great move by the Haney team. They should be fighting Lomo, but they don't want no part of that because they know what happened. But fighting Garcia is the next best thing. It's going to be a big event, and I'm excited for it. Good matchmaking. Yeah.
No, it's really easy too because both promotions are on the same network, so
exactly.
It's just an easy fight to make. It is the fight to make. I'm
actually cheering for Ryan Garcia in this fight. You know what? I lost a little bit of respect for Haney and his dad. Some of the stuff they're saying about Lomo after they refusing to fight him, and if you easily beat him, then why not beat the guy again? Because you know what happened. Either way, I'm cheering for Ryan Garcia in this fight. He's a good kid. He's had his mental health struggles. I get that. He got clocked by Tank. He made some excuses, kind of cheesy, but at the end of the day, I hope he redeems himself and gets a big win. If he doesn't put him in the stardom, he can beat Haney. Sky's the limit for him. Well, can he is the question. He's gonna be the underdog.
Well, when we get closer, we'll break it down even further and this and that. But I think right now, just in the early stages of it all, I think, the way, just based on what I've seen so far, I just almost feel Devin fighting the safe fight against him, right? Because of
and Devin will probably win, but it's like you said, it's a safe fight. But
right.
you never know. Garcia, he's quick and he's got heavy hands. He doesn't get away with a knockout from Haney, so.
But anything can happen, man. I mean, if anything works out, I mean, again, he's got more time with Derek James now, so they've had a bit more work, and they're gonna have another camp together. Again,
and Garcia can't smack talk De La Hoya anymore because he got you in the fight with Tank. He's got you Devin Haney, so he's getting you the big fights. Now you got to do your part,
yeah,
and win.
Oh, I completely agree with you. I think also just really again like Tio, and I think Tio, unfortunately, and I say this with all respect, I think Tio suffers from it more. But Ryan, you just don't know which Ryan you're gonna get.
True.
Right, and that's the problem. If you think about it, what set this all off before the fight was announced? Those two got into each other's faces backstage. I'd say that's totally staged, man. That's the whole thing was a setup. I mean,
probably, yeah.
Right. I mean, as much as everybody doesn't want to look at wrestling and stuff like that, but wrestling's influence in combat sports.
Oh, dude, Muhammad Ali got his whole thing from Gorgeous George.
Right.
So his whole stick from George's George. So yeah, wrestling
people,
influences football, basketball, hockey, all this stuff.
If that thing was to shoot, their bodyguards and everyone would have been standing in between it right from the get-go. The fact
that was staged a little bit of hype and get you excited, yeah.
Right, but the fact
I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't either, right?
I don't either, right? But the fact that they did that, you knew something was coming and this and that. So I mean, and they have a history. These kids competed together as kids, man.
Yeah.
Right. So they go back, they know each other. I'm really looking forward to it, man.
Me too.
All right, brother,
Great
man.
match, man. I'm excited for this fight.
Yeah, so am I, my man. So am I. All right. Well, I tell you what, we're at that stage of the game. Do you have anything that's going down in this day or this week in boxing history? And do we have anything?
I do. There's quite a few things that went down, but I'm not going to run off a huge list. I'd like to pick out the ones that people know about. So this week in boxing history, 1993 to be precise, the one and only James Lights Out Tony captured the IBF super middleweight title with a dominant win in the bloody 9th round over the one and only Iran the Blade Barkley in Vegas, Nevada. Ruthless fight. Go check it out. In Tony's prime, he was a headhunter. He was the man. He got flabby at the end of his career and got embarrassed in UFC. But hey, good for him for going in there, and it was a great fight. 31 years ago, man.
Ever go over?
What's that?
He's the first guy to ever go over.
Yeah, dude.
He's the only guy to ever go over. Show me another boxer who's ever gone into well, outside of Clarissa Shields, maybe. But other than that,
the first real crossover fight was when Tim Silva fought. Who was it? He fought a former heavyweight champion and knocked him out in a boxing fight. Can't remember who it was now, but that happened. But yeah, I know Tony's the only guy that went in the cage like that. He just went for a payday. He even said it. But he got killed. But all right, we got some Canadian boxing history here. I like to bring up some boxers that most people in America don't know, but we do have some former champions here. So this one is the one and only Matthew Hilton. He was born in 1965. He's a former IBF junior middleweight champion of the world, and he is a younger brother of another former super middleweight champion, Dave Hilton Jr. So the Hilton brothers, two former champions of Canada, were still alive in their late 50s. Check out some of the old fights on YouTube. Pretty skilled fighters.
Beautiful, man. Canada has a very, very
the best brother Canada we've ever had in Canada is Davey and Matt.
Yeah, well, regardless, across the board, right from the beginning of the 19th century onwards, man, there have been a lot of solid Canadian boxers just don't get their due. But you know what?
Yeah.
And
one more thing, Matthew Hilton was 32 wins, 24 knockouts, 8 decisions, 3 losses, and he's had a great career. Canadian legend.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Yep.
All right, brother, man. I tell you what, let's get this weekend started. Get with the families, do our thing, guys and gals. If you're going out this weekend, please have fun, do what you want to do. But remember, we just want you guys to make the right choices and decisions and get home to your family because they're missing you. And the biggest reason of all, we just want you back here on Tuesday with us. So I'm Bobby Sampson. He's Chance Michaels.
In the words of the great AC/DC, those that download, like, and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you. Everybody, please have a safe, wonderful weekend. Enjoy the wrestling, enjoy the boxing, enjoy the USC, enjoy whatever it is you're going to do. Just have fun and get home safe. Samp and Chance out.